Yo, 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 yo. What's good, my boys? Today we're going to be trying to learn something that's going to motivate us and propel us to spark some type of chain reaction in the mind so that we can carry out some stuff in the real world that's useful. Carry it out, you feel me? So we're going to be watching Exposing Brezscales $1 million a month empire. Genius strategy. So shit, we need to learn $1 million a month. That's some bread. That's type bread change your life forever and change your people's lives forever. So if there's any truth to this video, I needs to know what's up. So let's get
This is Brezscales' $12 million empire that he's built in just 12 months. But it all started on September 22nd of 2024. 19-year-old Bergen Resnick, known online as Brez, was driving home from a car meet. Earlier that day, he had just picked up a frost-white BMW M3 competition.
So holy shit.
No?
No,
What'd you get?
it's a BMW M3.
But then something terrible happened.
We got fucking rear-ended, bro, leaving the car meet. The damage isn't too bad on the car, but shit, bro, it's devastating. I mean, this dude's car is cooked. His shit's total. Gas spilling everywhere, bro.
God damn.
Shit happens for a reason, too.
It's almost as if he knew that this single event would lead to him taking over the internet and building a business that makes $1 million a month off of his brand. Now, I've spent over 100 hours watching all of Brez's videos and dissecting his business and also watching all these strategy breakdowns, but nobody seems to actually understand the strategy that he's using to make this money. The reason I know what I'm talking about is because I've actually done this myself, building a $2.1 million a year brand empire before turning 18 years old. Chapter 1. Who is Bergen Resnick? Well, he was your average teenager from Wisconsin, not from the Fiji Islands here, and he comes from a middle-class family, not the grandson to some billionaire. When the world shut down, he did what any reasonable kid would do and decided to try and go pro playing Fortnite. Well, he never reached the big leagues. This is where he was first exposed to making money online. Instead of making money from tournaments, he'd bet on himself in what's called a wager match against other players that he could beat them in a custom mode. Collecting these small wins anywhere from $1 all the way up to $25, he made his first few thousand online. And it might have seemed to his friends and family that he was just cooped up in his room playing video games for 14 hours a day, but this is where his hunger to actually escape the Matrix grew. And again, the reason that I know this is because I played those exact same matches, making me my first few thousand as well. That same hunger I spoke.
Bro, honestly, I can say for anybody that's like hustling on the side or hustling on their own, when you make thousands of dollars hustling, it's a different feeling. I remember one time I was really grinding for my photo shoot, and I think I watched like double-digit cars, and I made a little over $1,000 for my photo shoot to be able to finance that. And dog, I'm talking about that feeling when everything finally was over, and I had like finally did the photo shoot, and everything was just like worth it. Best feeling in the world, bro. So I can definitely understand how things like that lead to even bigger things. And yo, ain't nothing like that hustle and that grind though.
About led to him quitting video games and trying other ways to make money online. He tried NFTs and made a few thousand, but then soon lost it all. This is when he saw people like Jordan Welch and Nathan Nazareth making money online and decided to try dropshipping. He sold lighters, gym bracelets, and
Man, I tried drop shipping too. It's horrible, bro. Horrible.
icy masks. Even if he made money, he was barely profiting anything because his supplier was overcharging. That same supplier eventually scammed him and it led to him quitting entirely. However, this incident taught him Facebook ads, which is a skill that would go on to make him tens of millions. As you can see by his chrome hearts and other designer clothing, Brez has always had a passion for fashion.
So we're gonna drive to the store and I'm probably gonna buy some Chrome Heart jeans. This is a random side quest. Like I said, I filmed an outro for this video earlier in the day and was gonna end it there, but I figured why not pick up the camera and show you guys this, because I've been wanting Chrome Heart jeans for the longest time but haven't been able to find a pair. Back to the jeans. Oh my gosh, my first ever pair of chrome jeans, bro. First ever pair of chrome jeans. I'm gonna have to Might have to beat my shit in these. Anyways,
he decided to start his own brand, which he would call Trader. People loved his design, and because of his skill running ads, they were also converting into customers. Even though he was off to a hot start, he still needed a supplier to ship the clothing to his customers, so he decided to get a job at a local golf course called Turtleback. But there was a massive issue. Even though he had all the clothes shipped out, as you can see in this image, this new supplier scammed him out of $60,000, which would lead to him going out of business. The external pressure to be traditionally successful finally got to him, and he enrolled into college, which he wasn't taking seriously at all. He realized that he didn't have the skill or the care to manage suppliers, product, and all the boring stuff involved with running an e-commerce business. Instead, he took the thing he was good at, which was running ads, and decided to offer it to the industry that he knew the best, which was the clothing industry, because he had just run a business there. When he reached out to his network of clothing brand owners and offered to run their ads and only take a percentage of what they profit, they said yes, and this business was his first successful endeavor and led to him profiting $10,000 to $15,000 and dropping out of college in just 2 months. Over the next year, him and his business partner Mason Ashby, who was in a similar situation, went on to make $100,000 a month, taking a percentage of the clothing brands whose ads they were running. On February 25th of 2024, Brez moved across the country to Arizona to live in a penthouse with all of his boys. This is when he posted his first YouTube video showcasing his luxury lifestyle, because he had decided that he was going to teach others how to make money the exact same way that he did. This is because he had seen the rise of all those dropshipping YouTubers he used to watch, and guys like Andrew Tate and Iman Godzi, and knew that selling information was the most profitable and most scalable business model to start in 2024 and going forward. Now, a lot of people go after guys like this and call them a scammer or a fake guru. However, I'd argue that selling products from China that people don't actually need isn't any better of a business model than helping people transform their lives the exact same way that you had with a particular skill. While still running his agency, which he has to this day, he decided to try and attract customers by making more information-based videos, but it saw nowhere near the success of when he just opened up his camera and transparently showed his authentic self. Instead of putting all this effort into a video, he just documented what he was doing on the day, whether it was hanging out with his friends, making jokes, taking calls, or just driving around, and people loved him for it.
Bro, that's fucking. What the fuck? Bro got hit by a bike and then just ran in that excruciating pain and goes, "That's Brezscales." Yo, shout out to that dude if he's watching this, bro. Hopefully he's okay. That's fucked, bro.
It might seem like he's just some chaotic kid crashing cars, making stupid TikToks, and hanging out with his friends, but this dude is profiting $1 million a month, which is numbers higher than guys who have been in business for 10, 20, 30 years, or maybe even their entire life, and you don't get there without being an advanced marketer. No matter how raw and real it may look, this is all calculated and by design. His carefully crafted image and way of presenting himself, his authentic brain rot lingo which resonates with his ideal customer, the conversion channel he pushes his cult-like audience to so that they can pay him money, all of his publicity stunts, and his ability to take normal events and turn them into clip farms just like how streamers do, all powered by his army of commission editors that get him hundreds of millions of eyeballs per month. His funnel that's getting optimized every single day, and his elite sales team that is constantly being trained. His new event strategy like Iman Godzi or Alex Hormozi making $100 million in a single day, all while avoiding controversy and having his audience be more cult-like than ever. In addition to that, an elite operating team and a 9-figure mentor who's one of the biggest names in the space right now that he's never publicly mentioned. Quite frankly, 99.9% of people will never understand just how complex this empire is, but in the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you everything. His product is called the Elite Roundtable, and it's a group coaching program that has weekly calls with all of its members, access to a one-on-one coach, and in addition to that, course material. And likely Brez is no longer involved when it comes to actually working with people one-to-one because he's onboarding so many customers. However, in the past he did also charge for a one-to-one access, and the overall price of the Elite Roundtable is in the neighborhood of $5,000, which their closing team allows people to split up to in either a one-time paid in full or a multiple half split or 3-time split, because it is over a set period of months that they actually join the program and work through it. The Elite Roundtable is what's called a direct-to-consumer offer, or D2C for short, and what this means is that he's teaching this freelance brand scaling model to people and his ideal customer that are complete beginners, which is really just who he's actually going after. Young men who want to make money online, kind of similar to Iman Godzi and SMMA, but I'll cover that in a second. second. In direct correlation to how broad your product actually is and how many people it can help is the amount of logic that you actually have to use to sell it. So to give you an example, if you are selling a very advanced solution to somebody, it is likely going to have to be heavily logic based. And a great example of this is Alex Hormozy. He has what's called a B2B offer, which means that he's actually targeting other businesses that he actually wants to work with. And because of this, they are people that actually have to be a lot more qualified. And then as a result of that, when he's making his content, but also just trying to market his product in general, he is going to use logical terms of how you can justify your investment to buy it. For example, one of my favorite ways he does this is by saying that, hey, investing into this is a tax write-off for your business anyways, so you're going to be making the money back that you'd invest because you'd have to pay it to the IRS or whatever tax association that you actually have based on the country you're in. And that's a great example of a more niche down logical selling versus when you actually go all the way up to the top of it, there's almost no logic involved, and what this means is that it completely relies on emotion. Now you can look at guys like Andrew Tate and Iman who have mastered this by purely making their videos about emotion, and I'll cover that in a second. And we can take this one step further and look at the most broad products in the world, for example a Red Bull or a Coca-Cola. Because they can actually have everybody as their customer, they use emotions like excitement or adventure in Red Bull's case scenario, or enjoyment and relaxation in Coca-Cola's scenario, and because of that it drives the emotion to actually purchase because they're all the way up here and somebody doesn't need to be qualified in order to buy from them. Now when it comes to where Brez is on this big scale, I'd say he's about 3/4 of the way up because his program is actually going to work for everybody. However, it does require an initial upfront investment. So now that you know what he actually sells to make money and where his actual offer falls in the entire market, it's time to break down the content strategy that he uses to get all of this attention to actually sell people. He has 3 different strategies for doing this. First off, he has his Instagram profile and his personal TikTok, where he just nurtures the attention he already has. He then has the clipping army, which is meant to push him out to as many new eyeballs as possible. And then finally, he has his 3 different YouTube channels, which are the most important element of this entire empire, and without it, it would all fall down. Even when somebody's literally being held captive against their will, as time goes on and they begin to actually be in the presence of the person they're with more, they begin to like them. And because of that, we can take away the equation that the amount of time that somebody spends with you is generally connected to the amount of likability that they have with you, and that likability actually goes into the trust they have for you, and trust is that core.
Sorry that I'm not talking. I'm like really locked in on this right now because I really gotta learn how I can make $1 million a month. So we like super locked in right now. We're gonna talk though. We're gonna talk, but like I'm just like I gotta learn. I just gotta learn, cousin.
Asset that Brez is after in order to emotionally charge his viewers and then have them purchase his elite roundtable offer. He has 3 channels. The first one is Brezscales, where he posts the long form videos that we've all come to love him for. The second one is going to be ROAS Brez, which is his conversion channel where he specifically talks about freelance brand scaling and how he's actually made his money. And the third channel is Brez's POV, which is actually an abandoned channel that he was going to use to actually document him just driving around and talking. Around a year ago from today, Brez actually went to New York and visited the WAP headquarters in Brooklyn. And if you didn't know, WAP is the clipping central of the entire internet range. To explain why this happens, we have to look at the streaming world where we have people constantly documenting their lives, and in order to actually create content, they can't go out of their way to sit down and record, so what they do is they clip up moments from their stream and then have that distributed as their way of going viral and marketing themselves. Now, a few years ago when this first became popular, TikTok had a beta program which was paying out thousands and thousands of dollars to anybody that could get views on the platform, and because of this, so many viewers were actually going onto these streamers' channels, editing up clips, posting it, and making thousands of dollars. Now, the first entrepreneur to successfully pull this off to sell their info product was actually Andrew Tate, where he had people that joined Hustlers University get paid to actually clip things up, and WAP pretty much does the exact same thing. And then going back to the first strategy that he uses, Brez has an Instagram where he just posts aesthetic photos of himself and his lifestyle, but in addition to that, he also posts reels, which are done in a very raw style, almost as if you were on FaceTime with him, and they're pretty much always jokes and not really serious.
The worst type of people in this world are the ones who sit there and spam Meg and I. And yes, I'm one of those people myself. And yes, I spent hundreds of dollars on the game recently to max out my Mega Knight and the rest of my homemade deck from 2017.
And what this does is it means that when someone finds out about him from the Clipping Army and the entire empire that he's running there, they can then go to his main page where they see and actually get to like him. Then from that page on his Instagram, where he has this owned attention, he will put up stories and direct people to his main YouTube channel, where again they begin to actually spend time with him. And going back to the Stockholm Syndrome that we actually spoke about before, in direct correlation to the amount of time that somebody spends with us is the amount of likability, then trust, which means that when they finally get to the YouTube long form, begin watching for hours and hours and hours, they want to know how this guy is actually doing this. But none of this works because of the strategy alone. Lots of people do that but still don't get results. What actually drives the needle for Brez is his character and overall marketing principle. Given that he is selling with emotion, Brez pulls off a masterclass of what's called relatability contrast. On one hand, he is exactly like you. He's a normal kid that's interested in designer clothing, loves cars, he listens to rappers like Playboi Carti, Ken Carson, and so many other people. He brain rots and scrolls on the algorithm, so he always knows what the next jokes are. But on the other end of that, you look at him and you aspire to his lifestyle. You go, oh, how does he have a Lamborghini and a Porsche? And how did he buy a Lamborghini Urus at 19? Why is he hanging out with guys like TJR, who at the time of this video just bought a $3 million coining set? In addition to that, why is he buying fake Wang Chang G-Wagons just for fun to crash with his friends? Why is he chartering private jets with all of his boys? And how can he crash these cars so easily and laugh it off? When Brez's Clipping Army first started pumping out videos and going viral, he began to get comments saying that he might be the grandson of the founder of Fiji, who is a billionaire. And this is just the average daddy's money's comment, something that the average creator would just completely ignore and maybe even get offended by, but Brez didn't do that. Coming from his background of gaming and understanding the streaming world, he took this completely normal moment that most people would just toss away and he turned it into something called clip farming, which is a strategy that the most viral streamers in the world like Kai Cenat, Stable Ronaldo, Lacey, and so many other guys use. He played into the joke and made it 100 times more viral. Just check out this clip.
Alright guys, I'm with the owner of Fiji Water right now, and you guys didn't believe me when I said that there were Shopify notifications popping up through my phone once I checked out. So we're at the gas station right now. Watch, I'm going to check out, and there's going to be a fucking ding. Got my eye on you, dude. Got my eye on
Now let's move on to the most genius part of his strategy that everybody tries to copy, but nobody seems to be able to replicate it, even if they have his lifestyle and even if they have all the money in the world to pay people. To put this into perspective, imagine you were a basketball player and you had the ability to speak to Michael Jordan. It wouldn't matter whether he was in the pool, whether he just got out of bed, whether he was golfing, or whatever he was doing at all, because he's already so much of the person that you want to be that as a result, anything you can do to get into close proximity with him is going to be in your best interests. After that point, while his attention machine is running to get him these hundreds of millions of eyeballs per month and then nurture them through his main YouTube channel, within the videos on his main YouTube channel, as he's building that parasocial connection with people, he says, hey, if you want to learn how I make money and how I live this lifestyle, which again plays into the relatability contrast, you can go to my second channel, Roas Brez, where I explain exactly what freelance brand scaling is and exactly how I do it. Soon as you're going through the video, an appointment setter from his team is going to reach out to you over the phone, and then you're also going to get emails from him, all with the goal of actually getting you onto a call, given you are financially qualified, and then if you're the right fit for it, moving you over to the Elite Roundtable, the product that he is selling. And the reason why this is so effective is because he's not
gonna lie, I'm kind of doing this right now. So recording these videos, and then I don't really talk too much in my videos, but when I do talk, I like to clip that video, especially if it's like a motivational moment. I clip that, put that on my TikTok. So kind of something similar. It's gonna be a lot harder for me to replicate this to a T because I don't have necessarily the lifestyle part, but I could just play it up to the lifestyle I do have, which I've been trying to do. But yeah, this is definitely a good business model and something for you to aspire to, you know what I'm saying? Because I can kind of see how everything makes sense. So For sure.
Trying to say, hey, you got to pay me this much up front to make this work. He is relying on the curiosity that is built, and from that point on, the high emotion that is actually here, he's going to use his setter, his sales process, and his mini course after they've already seen all the lifestyle marketing and all the fancy stuff to move them down the funnel into understanding the logic of where their money's going, and eventually, instead of just paying with their attention, all the way up here, paying with their dollars and joining his program. Now, while doing my research to prepare this, Brez actually launched his second ever live event, which headlines reads, "Steal my $3.4 million skill set that took me from a chronic doom scroller to a multimillionaire by the age of 20. The goal with this page is to get your information so that he can then send you to what's called a type form, which will pretty much make you answer some basic questions about yourself, your education, what business model you've tried in the past, and based on your answers, if you have a really high amount to invest and you have good experience, you're going to be ranked on a criteria of A through D based on the quality of lead you are, and the top leads A and B are all going to be reached out to by the appointment setters that Brez actually has on his team, similar to the way that he runs the opt-in funnel. However, it's all going to be based around the live event, and the setters reaching out are going to act as a concierge and help service instead of just somebody that's a representative of his team and trying to actually make you start freelance brand scaling immediately so that he can leverage the live event to actually do majority of the selling. And the reason why the strategy is so effective is because it allows them to avoid controversy. You see, the biggest influencers in the world, if they constantly try and sell and push their products, they're going to get a crazy amount of hate and destroy what's called their give to ask ratio. They have to give 10 times the amount they ask for, because if not, the backlash they're going to get is going to destroy their reputation. So as a result of this, instead what they do is they host these one-time live events once every few months and pour all the money that they usually spend on advertising and team costs for the entire year all into the span of these few months so they can make a revenue generating event and make a crazy amount of money in a short period of time. And a great example of this is a few days actually before I recorded this video, Alex Hormozi made $100 million in a single day just by pushing his book and going on a live stream after promoting it for a few months prior. To keep it simple, there really is no difference, and this is an extremely powerful strategy called becoming a category king and building a unique mechanism, which was mainly popularized in the info product space with the book Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson, a guy who is pretty much the godfather of internet marketing. He learned from a guy named Dan Kennedy, who is the master of direct response mail that you'd actually receive to your doorstep marketing, and he even taught Hormozi, who I'd consider the godfather of this new kind of content generation of entrepreneurs. So this is legit stuff, and if you haven't read this book, it's the playbook behind all the favorite gurus that you see. However, pretty much what he's done is he's taken SMMA and he's taken his sub niche of it, which is working specifically on a revenue share deal with e-com brands or with brands that sell more low ticket products online, and he's turned it into freelance brand scaling, particularly because his way of doing it doesn't involve you having a massive team. And in addition to that, it doesn't mean you're going to be outsourcing or charging up front, which is different to Iman's, Ty Lopez's, Charlie Morgan's, or any of the other gurus that you've actually seen in that space. Now, when I had mentioned that I built a $2.1 million a year empire earlier in this video, the SMMA space is actually where I did it alongside my partner Dylan Wilson, and we had a few strategies that we used that are kind of along the same lines. So instead of talking about how to just get to $10,000 a month in SMMA like Iman, the top guy in our market, was doing, we decided to go after the smallest aspect of our market that was unique to us, which was how to get your first client and the first client challenge. And because of this, we saw success in creating a unique mechanism the exact same way that Brez did with freelance brand scaling. The only difference between what we had done and what Brez had done is that Brez's had a completely different name, and he also had a way more attention actually flowing to it, and because of that, it became a completely different business model in the eyes of the new people that he's showing it to. The reason why this is so effective is because 99% of people, which is a statistic from this book here, do not want to actually take responsibility for their own problems. It's only a very small percent of high achievers that are going to take responsibility for their problem in a given aspect of their life, because there's nobody that takes responsibility for all their problems. But at the same time, you might not take responsibility for the fact that you're bad at math, and because of that, if someone said to you, hey, I've got this math program for you and it follows all the 4 key elements of Alex Hormozi's $100 million offers, and then from that point on, it also has a unique naming system around it, even if you're that high performer in the other aspect of your life, you're still not going to take responsibility here, and as a result, that would be appealing for you. So now let's go down to his team and operations, because he might just seem like a 20-year-old kid. However, this guy has dozens of people working for him around the clock 24/7, and they're they're experts at what they do. The first person to break down is Mason Ashby, who's his business partner at his original agency, Brezz Marketing. Even though this business makes a fraction of what his personal brand does, it is the foundation of the entirety of his brand and his reputation, and if he's still making money with freelance brand scaling, it proves to all of his viewers and people that are interested in learning that it still works to this day and that the person teaching it is actually good at what he's doing. He's likely removed himself from all of the day-to-day operations of this business and given his partner far more equity and ownership of the company, but as long as he can still attach his name to it and his reputation and brand, it is going to be profitable for both his business partner, who gets clients because of his brand building, but then also him, because he gets to piggyback off the fact that he still runs a successful agency. The second person that's extremely essential is his roommate and business partner at his education company, Pierre, who's a growth operator. He'll take care of the sales teams, the funnels, the operations, the meetings, and even the product to a certain extent outside of just the recording and information. And the reason why this is so powerful is it frees up Brezz's time to focus on what he does best, which is producing as much content as possible, getting as much attention as possible, which then goes into the machine that he's built with the sales teams and with his entire operation, and then monetizing it into customers in the Elite Roundtable. Finally, the third key person and the 9-figure mentor who runs the mastermind that Brezz is a part of is named Jeremy Haynes. While he's recently got into posting organic YouTube himself, this guy comes from the world of direct response marketing, spending millions of dollars on ads every single month, and because of this, he has optimized everything when it comes to funnels, upsells, conversions, and can make the most out of this organic funnel that Pierre and Brezz are running together. After all the previous videos made breaking down Brezz's funnel were made, he recently came out and explained on his very small channel that they were actually a member of his mastermind and was the first legitimate person to confirm that they had hit $1 million in a single month.
We've had one of our newer Inner Circle members, Pierre and Brezz. They did.
It seems like the big thing in this right here is to get yourself out there more. It seems like that's like the baseline theme of this video. It's like, get yourself out there more. Post more, clip more, do more, try to sell more, just do more. That's what I'm getting from this right here.
Presentation just recently at our Q3 Inner Circle Mastermind. They had gotten $1 million a month trophy and they talked about some of the lessons.
Then we have people that tag along for collaborations. We've got guys like Orangey, TJR, Fredo, one of his previous roommates, and even guys like Kimchi, who is actually a day trader and has nothing to do with the online space. However, what these people do is they add to that element of relatability contrast, because he's just a usual guy with his friends that also make money online, and it's the dream for his ideal customer to have a friend group of guys that just make money and have fun every single day. And with that being said, the next big thing to watch for Brezz is going to be the live event he is hosting in September. In order to make this the most effective event he has run yet, he is using a few strategies like running retargeting ads, which pretty much means that if you watch any piece of YouTube content from him or Instagram content, you're going to receive an ad when you're actually just scrolling through the platform saying, hey, do you want to sign up for this free event? Because it's free and because you know the guy, you're going to like him and you're going to sign up just because the awareness is there, and he's spending tens of thousands of dollars a day on this. And in addition to that, this is a little known strategy called a group sales call, and after somebody's already spoken with a representative of Brezz's company and they might not have actually wanted to move forward, he's going to say, all right, that's okay. However, there is this opportunity to actually speak with me completely for free, ask any questions that you have, and then on that call, it's going to be Brezz, but it's going to be in a group setting with dozens and dozens of people, and he's going to answer questions and pretty much onboard people to his program live. And this creates what's called fear of missing out, when you see people on that call buying and speaking to their idol, which allows him to still actually get paid well for his time, but also make a crap ton of money and re-engage leads that might not have actually purchased from him. All that to say that this new kid on the block has built an empire in the last 12 months and is likely going to make far more than $1 million when he hosts this event in September. And this video took me 100 hours. It's actually 7:26 a.m. at an all-nighter. At the time of recording, my voice is dying. So if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and I hope that the time you spent on this video is worth the value you got in return, and I'll see you in the next one.
And there it is, how he makes $1 million a month with his empire. Genius strategy. Hey man, this channel is gonna turn into just like where we come to get the game, get the free game, and we're gonna go ahead and subscribe to this channel so we can keep getting that game. Hey man, I appreciate y'all for watching this with me. Hope y'all learned something. Just like I said, I always say, try to maintain and be positive. put yourself out there more, post more, do more. From anything that you get from this video, definitely what I got from this video is do more, post more, get your face out there more. He said something like, the more somebody spends time with you, the more likable you are to that person. The only way you're going to spend more time with these people, or with people in general, is that you got to post more, be around people more, be in whatever you're trying to do more. So that's the word of the day. And yeah, I'm going to see y'all boys in the next video. Y'all boys keep going, stay focused. And yeah, I see y'all boys. Cousins, I see y'all cousins.